Hey, good morning, y'all. We're gonna be closed today and tomorrow. I'm heading out of town with the kiddo before she heads back to college. Um, so if you're looking to get anything, I'm sorry we won't be in today or tomorrow. I'll be back Monday morning. Um, Wanted to do a quick video since we're not around. I know a lot of you are shopping right now, especially for kids going back to college and stuff like that, looking for really just affordable bikes for people to get around. And I encourage a lot of people to go on Facebook Marketplace, look around. There are killer deals to be had. I just wanted to point out a few things to be on the lookout for. This particular bike was brought in by a customer, and they got a screaming deal on it, so I don't think that they did anything wrong, and they certainly didn't get cheated out of anything, but there are a lot of things to be on the lookout when you're looking on Facebook Marketplace and stuff like that at particularly older bikes. I love these chromoly old steel frames. They ride great, they hold up well, and as you can see, this one really, I mean, it looks perfect from the onset. Everything looks great on it. It appears to be a bike. It has the tires are holding air, so he paid $20 for it, and that's honestly a great deal. However, that being said, this bike probably has never been tuned up in its whole life. It is probably 100% original, and unfortunately, with a bike this age, this bike is about 30 years old. A bike that age, it's going to need a lot, and there's a lot of kind of pitfalls that you can fall into with this that make it a much more expensive bike. And I'm just going to go through some of the stuff that he didn't notice probably when he was buying it, because like most of y'all, you don't know everything about a bike. You just look at it, there's no rust on it that you can really see. The paint's in pretty good condition, tires are holding air, great, we'll send it. We'll start with the tires. They are the original tires, and they are horribly dry rotted. They are not safe to ride. So the tires are going to have to be replaced, and I'll kind of run through what the costs are, so you can see how the costs add up quickly. Two new tires, our cheapest kind of urban tire option that we have, are $20 a piece. So you're looking at $40 for tires. The tubes are good, so I would reuse the tubes. So at least there's some money savings there. Those are $8 a piece. One thing I noticed right away was the rear wheel had a broken spoke. And of course, there's a million things that can cause broken spokes. Anything from something hitting it at some point. It certainly wasn't the derailleur shifting into it. I don't see any damage that would be indicative of that. One of the concerns I have when we have a midline brake like this, where it's not at one extreme or the other, but right in the center, is sometimes that can be caused from corrosion from being stored near pull chemicals or fertilizers or something like that. And while I may be able to just replace that one spoke and retension the wheel and true it, my concern is once I replace that spoke, we might have other spokes pop in the same place as I'm bringing it up to tension. And it literally may mean a whole new wheel. A used wheel, you're looking at anywhere from about $30 to $50. So that's a big one. The chain's not horrible on this bike. In this case, I would probably not do anything but try to clean and lube it, just because that's another little place where we can save a little money. Unfortunately, when it gets into some of the other stuff like cables and housings, they're all rusty, they don't work well. So all the cables and housings would have to be replaced. And I mean, that's immediately, you're looking at $45, $50 for all the cables and housings. The brake pads are the original brake pads, and 30-year-old brake pads dry out and get rock hard and no longer work as brakes. They will make a nice clicking noise. You can probably hear it. That's not what a brake is supposed to sound like. So it'll need new brake pads front and back. That's about $16, $18 for that. The one big one that this bike has is a lot of these bikes from this era and even more modern have integrated shifters and brake levers. They're the STI levers. This era and some of the ones from around that era in particular, the grease in there is old. The springs can fatigue, and in this case, neither one of these shifters shift all the way through. I'm going to try my best to get them to free up. It doesn't always work. If I can't get them to free up, unfortunately, that means new shifters and new brake levers. And that's, we're starting to get into more and more expenses here. These grips are also really gummy, so it's going to need grips as well. So pretty much everything on the cockpit will need to be replaced. And shifters, grips, brake levers, you're probably somewhere around, just trying to run it through my head, probably about $50-ish for that as well. So you can start to see it's really adding up quickly. I'd probably do a quick service on the hubs, just because again that grease is probably really dry, so I'd want to shoot some grease in there, maybe look at them and see if it's really dry, see how they feel. I likely wouldn't tear it all the way down, clean and re-grease and replace the bearings, because again this bike was bought to just be a commuter. The bottom bracket probably needs serviced, and what I would encourage them to do is go ahead and replace it with a cartridge bottom bracket. Relatively inexpensive, but again we're just piling on expenses, so that's another $20 for a bottom bracket. But having said that, these bikes do ride great, and after about $180 or $200 on top of the original 20, it would be an absolutely phenomenal bike to get around, do whatever on, and it would probably last another 35 years easily. These bikes really do go the long distance. It's some of the alloy bikes from a little bit later than this, they have issues with a little bit of aluminum fatigue. They have issues with some cracking. They have some issues with water getting to the frame and splitting the frames down here. So if you're looking at an alloy frame from around the early aughts, 2000, 2008, it's always helpful just to check the dropouts back here, and also right under here. That's where water will pull, and when it freezes, it'll split the tubing down here. And once that's done, the bike is no longer good. You can't do anything to fix that. So if you're looking for them, just double check right down here under the tubing right here. It's usually right kind of at these points on both sides, where you can have the tubing split. The other thing is, if you're looking at Specialized from that era especially, if it's an M1, it'll have M1 or A1 right here. What you want to do is check the front where the S is on the front of it, and look to see if there are any cracks forming vertically along that head tube. Those are another very common fatigue point on those bikes. And again, if there's a crack there, unfortunately that bike is not salvageable. In this case, it's a chromoly frame. These things are bomb proof. You really can't hurt them. And again, after a full tune up, everything's gone through, everything's done. Hopefully this will be a great bike for years and years and years to come. Again, we won't be open today, Thursday, or tomorrow, Friday. But just wanted to go through kind of, while you're out looking at bikes, especially online, kind of what to be on the lookout for, and some of the pitfalls that may cost more than you expected. But at the end of the day, in this case, this could be a fantastic bike for somebody. All right, guys, see you on Monday.